Mark Rober discovered the formula to gaining massive subscribers on YouTube. And there are 3 reasons why his channel exploded in subscribers in 2024, from 29 million subscribers to 50 million plus in just 4 months. And the answer just may surprise you, because if NASA engineer Mark Rober can learn something new about growing on YouTube, so can you. So let's understand why this happened. And to do this, we have to dissect Mark's channel, starting from his first video in October of 2011. He posted his first video right around Halloween, which was perfect because his first video was about making a Halloween costume with 2 iPads.
All right, here's an idea for a relatively simple Halloween costume.
Essentially, he added an iPad on his back and front torso, making it look like he had a giant hole in his body. And the video took off because it was original, it was quick and to the point, and it trend jacked, which is essentially taking advantage of a current trend happening in the world. But why do I bring that up? Well, it was the start of him growing his channel and starting to take advantage of 3 major things. And what's wild is, though 2011 seems like ages and ages and ages ago, and during that time, Mark Rober has only posted just a bit over 100 videos. That's like nothing. Over the span of the years, that's just about 9 videos a year. If you are in the YouTube guru space or understand like posting consistent content, you realize that that is not the strategy that most creators can take or do take. So how is Mark crushing it? So he was initially able to blow up his channel because of 3 main things. The first of those is short videos. His Halloween video wasn't that long. In fact, it was 50 seconds, less than 1 minute, and it was able to rack up over 10 million views across the years. In fact, that's the length of the majority of his videos over the years. They were about 3 to 5 minutes long. That wasn't until his first 15-minute video about the Pinewood Derby. And that's when Mark saw the potential in posting longer videos, because the longer videos that you put out on YouTube, the more YouTube likes it and recommends it because the watch time is so much longer. You can see that progression over time, where in 2017, his average length was around 10 minutes. In 2021, it was around 15. And as of the last year, it was in the 20 to 30 minute range. He slowly increased his video duration over time, but number 2, he also increased the scale of his videos because they were so grandiose. Initially, his concepts were super simple, putting 2 iPads on his front and back. That's something that anybody could really do. Or doing simple camera tricks or dart tricks. They were something that you, the average viewer, probably would never think of. At least I would never think to do things like this, but you could actually kind of do them at home. I mean, heck, even if you wanted to turn your full pool into Jello, you could. I wouldn't recommend it, by adding little Jello packets to the pool just like he did. But he did scale up over time. Obviously, that pool one was a major one. Into now, today, he's literally doing experiments with lasers. That's crazy. Mark was able to take bigger and bigger risks as he learned and understood what worked on YouTube. He was also able to do that because he doubled down, that's number 3 here, on his content that worked. He obviously saw that his Halloween costume did well, so he did another one just a year later. And you may know him from his famous watermelon skinning trick, but that wasn't his original watermelon video. He did a one previously from that, and one upped and increased the quality, increased the level of experimentation on that. His glitter bombs, his glitter bomb version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He keeps going with them and making them bigger, more grandiose, doubling down on what works and adding to it. But the important thing to note here about Mark is that he didn't just stick to one thing that he doubled down on. This is something that a lot of TikTokers, social media people, and new YouTubers fall into the trap of, is seeing one thing that works and doing that thing again and again and again and again and again until it becomes so darn boring to the viewers. If he just started making Halloween costume videos year after year, yeah, he could have grown in that niche, I guess, but he would have got views like once a year. They probably would have got boring by now, and you never would have remembered who he was. But what he did is he tried doubling down on multiple different formats that worked and kept experimenting on his channel so he could keep growing. But those 3 things helped him grow to about 15 to 20 million subscribers. Incredible, I know, but that's a far way off from the nearly 70 million subscribers that he has today. So how did he do it? That leads us back to the initial question of how he gained millions and millions of subscribers in just just a matter of a few months. In fact, 30 million within a year. How did he do that? And as you can tell, I like lists because there are 3 things that led him to gaining that many subscribers. The first thing is growing his brand through collaboration opportunities. Yeah, reason 1 is a little bit more abstract and not the typical advice that you'd see for growing a YouTube channel. And of course, it's not going to work for just every creator. There are ways to do it depending on the scale that you're at, but Mark Rober had millions of subs, so he could do it in a higher level way. Think back to YouTube in 2017, 2018, 2019. Did you even know who Mark Rober was? There's a good chance you probably didn't. That's back when David Dobrik was big, Logan Paul was rising to power on YouTube, PewDiePie was massive, Mr. Beast was just starting his reign. You probably didn't even know who he was just yet. But Mark Rober wasn't the household name that he is today. And yes, I do say household because I was just at an event a few weeks ago talking with a couple of people who I knew like watched YouTube here and there, but they were talking about Mark Rober like they were like best friends with him. And it was crazy to me that these family members of mine actually knew who Mark Rober was. But how did he grow into that household name without posting weekly content where you see this person all the time? It was by actually taking a more Hollywood approach to things. You see, when studios are releasing new movies, they send their actors on press junkets, different podcasts, different interviews to get the media and buzz out there. So you see the same actor on all these different shows at one time because they're promoting that event. Well, Mark Rober did the same thing. He appeared on Jimmy Kimmel multiple times, promoting his channel, promoting what he's doing. He collabed with multiple channels. He went on Mr. Beast. He went on MKBHD's podcast. He went on Colin and Samir. And each of these individual videos have tens of millions of views total across YouTube. That's a way to grow outside of your existing audience. And through each of these appearances, he was able to grow his brand story. He was able to let people know how he was a NASA engineer who worked at Apple and did all of this on YouTube while he was working a full-time job. And it wasn't until years and years into a YouTube channel that he finally decided to quit and do it full-time.
I quit Apple when I had like about 10 million subscribers.
And before I get to reason number 2, it's important to understand the impact of these collabs. Because yes, while he did appear on some of those shows that I mentioned, like Hot Ones, like MKBHD, like Mr. Beast, he also appeared on a ton of different channels to bring in new audiences. You see, Mark could have collabed with anybody, but he was very specific about the ones that he did collab with. He went on Ninja Kids, A for Adley, Brianna, Ryan's World. He went on all these kids channels to reach those younger viewers and get them interested in the content that he was actually teaching in a really fun way, the science-based content on his channel. So that's how he started to bring in a younger audience, but then he expanded from that by going to different niches. He collabed with Legal Eagle and Sketch and Preston, and some of those videos have raked in tens of millions of views apiece, bringing in new audiences. Just his collabs alone have brought in like 700 million views on the platform. These are some viewers who may have never seen or known who Mark Rober was. He wasn't always the driving factor in those videos, but that's fine because that means that he could reach those new audiences, reach out to these different circles of influence and show his name, get his story out there and bring those viewers back to his own channel. And that's fantastic for growing his brand, but it doesn't get you 30 million subscribers. So let's move to reason number 2 that this happened. And that reason is actually changing his posting strategy. This is a super interesting one. So in September of 2022, YouTube announced a major change to its platform. It was adding Shorts. That was, of course, to compete with Instagram Reels and TikTok, which were growing and taking a major market share away from YouTube. So what did Mark Rober decide to do? Well, start posting shorts. And serendipitously around that time was just around Halloween when he initially started his channel in 2011. So what did he do? He did another Halloween video tricking trick-or-treaters. That short now has over 20 million views and was a major first step in creating shorts on his channel. So he posted another short in November, and then he hit the short circuit hard in 2023, posting one about modified bowling balls, which has over like 200 million views. One about dropping popcorn on moviegoers with over 100 million views, and another looking at Mr. Beast's Fear of Heights, which has over 200 million views. He posted 19 shorts that year, but only 10 videos. That's the really interesting part because his videos raked in around 500,000 views. Incredible, I know. But wait, his shorts that year brought in 1.3 billion views. So was he doing something different with his shorts than he was with his videos? Not really. In fact, he was using a lot of those initial principles that I said earlier about posting shorter videos, doubling down on what worked, posting grandiose content with all of his shorts. And in fact, he was using the ideas from his videos as actual shorts. So he did a video years ago about winning carnival games. Boom, that becomes a short. He did a video about how to automatically win Guess Who every single time. Boom, that becomes a short. Even his video about modifying a bowling ball was taken from an earlier video about rolling a perfect strike. Now, Mark could have been afraid that his viewers would be upset that he's reposting old content, but you have to remember there was an influx of new viewers, new younger viewers who may not have seen his content from 10 years ago. So he could repurpose it. He could recycle it, use it again, not just as a direct cut, but adding something new onto that, especially not when YouTube is serving your shorts to new viewers on the platform. And the bonus hack here is because his shorts were actually related to his videos, he was able to probably more easily get viewers to watch shorts to his videos, because if I like a short about rolling a perfect strike, I'm probably gonna like a longer video about it too, right? And of course, this is a genius way to get views, but it still doesn't answer the question about how to get subscribers. Well, that leads to his genius strategy number 3 here, which is actually asking for the subscribe. You see, a while ago, I saw this crazy graph on view stats. And when I saw this, I knew I had to investigate further. Something weird was going on with Mark Rober's channel. Like, that wasn't just a little bit of growth, it was a freaking explosion. So I had to figure out, what could I track this back to? And the answer was actually pretty easy. You see, these 3 shorts were posted around the same time as this massive growth in subscribers. And I want you to guess which one it was. A was about racing cars being more difficult than you think.
I'm here at the actual track in Vegas where in a few moments, the fastest race cars in the world will be flying around this corner.
B was about guaranteeing a win at the Super Bowl.
This is how I got booed out of the Super Bowl.
And C was about gaining 1 more subscriber.
I'm about to hit 30 million subscribers. There's almost 50 left.
Can you guess which one it was? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. If you guess C, you, my friend, are correct. But why are this graph and this short directly correlated? Well, let's break down how this short worked. So Mark started the short with his subscriber count on screen, ticking up from 29 million to 30 million subs. He also had a bunch of cannons and trash cans rigged to explode when he hit that 30 million mark. And just before he gets to the end, the subscriber ticker slows down. The trash can explosion doesn't go off, and Mark's confused, asking you to please subscribe to make it happen.
Somebody subscribe!
Then he followed his formula of doubling down, doing something the same way, but even more grandiose by doing the exact same concept, asking to get to 40 million subscribers to make a bunch of cannons explode.
I'm about to hit 40 million subscribers! There's almost 100 left!
But the cool part is that he actually paid off the explosion from part 1 of the short into part 2 and ended this one on a cliffhanger.
Not again! Somebody subscribe!
He tripled down this time, but with a twist. He was trying to reach 50 million subscribers, but while dangling off a cliff, he said, don't subscribe because I don't want to fall.
Guys, let's just scrap this. Don't subscribe. Please. Don't subscribe.
And can you guess which one of those actually led to the least amount of new subscribers? Well, it was obviously the third one where he asked people not to subscribe. Honestly, I still think it was worth a test. I think that's a really fun idea. But that was back in 2024. Would this still work today? And I would say yes, with an asterisk. This has been done time and time again once other creators started to realize that this was working. The Stokes twins famously did this. Mr. Beast has done this. But I think a better way to go about this is doubling down, taking Mark Rober's advice, but with a twist. And the twist that I've seen work well recently was Nick DeGiovanni's subathon.
Today is day 1 of my 7-day subathon to become the biggest food channel on YouTube.
And over the course of that week, he did gain a large amount of new subscribers. He used this idea, but he went about it in his own way. And so if you're looking to grow your channel, that's probably something I would recommend, because you may not be Mark Rober, who understands the psychology of all his viewers and what goes into actually asking for a subscribe. But you could just be bold enough to ask, just like I'm asking you to subscribe to this channel if you learn one little thing from this video. Seriously, do that right now to explode that subscribe button, just like Mark Rober did with those cannons. And when you're done with that, make sure to watch this video next about how Ryan Trahan is absolutely dominating YouTube with his different formats.